The morning Alex realized something was deeply wrong, nothing dramatic had happened. No tragedy, no heartbreak. Just a quiet Tuesday where his alarm rang and his body refused to move. He stared at the ceiling, feeling strangely disconnected from himself, like his soul was watching him from across the room. And somewhere inside, a voice whispered, "If you get up, what will even change?" A question he wasn't prepared to answer. He lay there for minutes that felt like hours, trying to understand why he wasn't sad, or crying, or panicking. He just felt a numb heaviness, the kind that wraps around your ribs and makes even breathing feel like effort. A heaviness that made him wonder if this was how people slowly disappeared from their own lives. A part of him kept insisting, "You're just being lazy." But another, quieter part, a part he had ignored for years, was trying to tell him that something deeper was happening, something his mind had been holding back for too long. Alex's life looked functional from a distance. He worked. He joked with friends. He posted pictures that hinted at a calm, balanced life. But no one saw the exhaustion behind his eyes, or the way he paused before every task as if mentally preparing for a storm only he could feel. It wasn't tiredness, it was survival. And he didn't know he had been living in that mode for years. Whenever he tried to work, his brain fogged. Whenever he tried to rest, guilt suffocated him. He felt stuck in a strange space between wanting to do everything and feeling incapable of doing anything. A state psychologists call the freeze response, the brain's emergency brake when it senses too much pressure, even pressure that no longer exists. Night after night, he would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, unable to explain why small tasks felt like mountains. But buried inside him was a truth he had never dared to say out loud. He was terrified of failing, not because he wasn't capable, but because growing up, failure wasn't allowed. As a child, he had learned to be the strong one, the stable one, the one adults could rely on. He learned that rest annoyed people, emotions complicated things, and asking for help disappointed them. So he built a personality around being fine, even when he wasn't. That kind of pressure doesn't leave easily. It hides in the body, in the nervous system, in the way you breathe when someone asks you to hurry. And one day, it catches up. He didn't collapse. He slowly shut down. A quiet burnout no one noticed because he didn't know how to show it. Everything made sense when he finally admitted the truth. His brain wasn't malfunctioning. It was protecting him, shielding him from expectations he had carried since childhood. He wasn't lazy. He was overloaded with unprocessed experiences. Trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, "Stay still." It's safer. Alex began changing in the smallest ways. 5 minutes of work instead of forcing an hour. Cleaning one drawer instead of the whole apartment. Letting himself breathe, even when productivity told him he didn't deserve it. Slowly the fog lifted. Not completely, not dramatically, but enough for him to feel like he was coming back to himself. Enough to believe that maybe his worth wasn't tied to constant motion. And yet, the biggest shift came from a realization he had spent years avoiding. His mind wasn't tired from doing too little. It was tired from fighting battles no one knew about. When he finally made peace with that, something softened inside him. He didn't feel cured. He felt human again. And if you're listening to this wondering why this story feels uncomfortably familiar, maybe your mind has been trying to tell you the same thing. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not lazy. You're a person who has been strong for too long, without a place to rest. And sometimes, the journey back to yourself begins with a single quiet moment. The moment you stop blaming your exhaustion and start listening to it. Because buried beneath the numbness, the fog, the freeze, is a version of you waiting to breathe again. When you're ready, there's more to uncover, more truth, more healing, more of your story.